be prepared to put yourself in situations where you can get equipped to learn more. I can't say enough about the importance of getting yourself in a position to win. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage, get yourself in an advantage. And remember, you don't need to know it all. You just need to know how to take the right next step. And when you're around people that are maybe a little bit further down the road, they're going to help you determine that next right step. Hey, friends, I hope everyone is doing amazing this beautiful October. I am recording this on a very informal platform and location. I'm actually in Thailand right now. I'm in a section of Thailand, or a province area named Krabi. And if you're familiar with Thailand, you're probably familiar with that area. But I took off for Thailand right after our Idaho Real Estate Investing Conference that we had in Boise on a trip that my husband and I had planned. He had a work trip in Bangkok, and I got to tag along. And we have just been on this little adventure through various parts of Thailand, and we've got a little bit more adventure to come. So, long story short, I recorded 3 hours of what I think was pretty good podcast material right before I left, the day before I left. And you guys, this is such a lesson on checking things over, or as people like to say, measure twice and cut once. Well, I just had such a great time popping into the studio and recording my podcast. I didn't check. So I got back ready to upload everything after those 3 hours. And guess what? I had beautiful video, but no sound. So I didn't have time to record anything else. And I'm literally in my hotel room in the coast of Thailand right now. And so there's no video, just a little sound, and it sounds a little creaky and a little lispy probably. But thank you for bearing with me. Today, what I wanted to share was, you went to a real estate conference. Now what? And turning inspiration into your next step. And it's funny that I'm recording this from Thailand, because one of the things that I wanted to say was on my mind, and I actually recorded before I left, and of course it didn't come out, was that it's always a great idea to take yourself out of your normal environment and give yourself some time for reflection after you go to a conference. And that's exactly what I did. When we were leading up to the Idaho Real Estate Investing Conference, as you can imagine, with a lot of conferences, there are so many logistics involved and work, and really, guys, like trying to get the right people in the rooms is, wow, it was a challenge. And people rallied, like people came from the woodwork, out of the woodwork, and I think we had like 50 to 70 signups the last week before the conference, and even like 13 the day before the conference, and some walk-ups. It was so exciting. It was great. So if you were in Idaho, and if you were at the Idaho Real Estate Investing Conference, thank you so much for being in the room. And a little takeaway from that is, when you're in the right room with the people that you're supposed to be with, the other things just fall by the wayside. And by other things, meaning problems and issues. And one thing I was thinking about right after the conference was, there was a full day without like political talk, without people pointing fingers at each other, and people just like building each other up and inspiring each other. And even the speakers were so forthright in letting people know that they don't have it all together, and that they're all on a journey, and we are all on a journey. So whether you were at a conference like Idaho Recon, or you are at a national conference, this is a takeaway that we all can learn from on what to do after a conference. And I think this can go for people that were either speaking at a conference or just attendees. But the very first thing I would say is that you need to take some time to reflect after a conference and debrief. The post-conference drop, it's kind of real. You get so excited and inspired, you're just going to go conquer the world, and then the energy fades, life gets busy, and people lose momentum. And, the difference between dreamers and doers is taking one small next step. I've known people in my life. I've been to a lot of personal development seminars, lots of course, real estate investing conferences and real estate agent conferences. And I've seen so many people over the years get all fired up and then fizzle out. And so I think taking some action and holding yourself accountable to take some action is really, really huge. Before you get so excited about everything that you took notes of and you run out and implement a bunch of things, I really encourage us all to take some time to reflect before we react. So, whether you went to Idaho Recon or maybe you went to the Bigger Pockets conference, or a multitude of other conferences, these are some things you can take away. I know fall is conference season, so undoubtedly you've probably been to something. And I would encourage you to write down 3 things you learned or heard about at the conference that really resonated the most. You can ask yourself what aligns with my goals, timeline, and lifestyle. Inspiration without reflection can lead to overwhelm. And I've seen that happen as well, especially in investing and at an event where you're talking about all kinds of different investing strategies. It can be very, very challenging to determine what action you're going to take next. But if there was something that really resonated with you, write it down and look at it often. And you know that that's the area that you're going to take action on first. And then I would even break it down further. Out of those things, I would choose one simple next step. An example would be if you've been trying to figure out how to make your first real estate investment, but not sure how you're going to get financing, and you got some great ideas at a conference, call that kind of lender. Find out a little bit more, walk down that road to know what you can do to be prepared to buy that first property.
Hey, Idaho investors, here's a stat that might surprise you. Over 70% of successful real estate investors say their best deals didn't come from the MLS or from a cold online lead. They came through their network. So if you're serious about growing your portfolio, it's time to get in the right room. Join Idaho REIN, the Idaho Real Estate Investor Network, an affiliate of the National RIA. We're here to inspire, connect, and equip you to build real wealth through real estate. Success doesn't happen in isolation. Get in the room where it's happening. Visit idahorein.com and join us today.
Another example is to attend a local meetup. At Idaho Recon, I was really intent on making sure that everyone that attended that conference had the opportunity to lead into something. As many of you know, I lead the Idaho Real Estate Investors Network. We had, I think, 32 people join our network throughout that conference, which was really, really cool. But if you're in Idaho, it's something like that where you're leading into a community where you've got accountability and you've got resources to continue to learn. And if you are in another part of the country, you can tap into your own local community, or there's a lot of virtual communities that one can tap into that don't have to cost a lot of money, but something to lead into so you're not going on fumes until the next conference in 12 months, because that's not going to get you the momentum that you need. You need to have that regular accountability and learning to keep going. And there's kind of 3 parts to that. I think of it like a three-legged stool, right? You need to be inspired, and conferences offer that inspiration, but you need to be inspired all year long, and you need to be connected. And conferences are a great start, but then to be able to lead into a community where you have that connection, you can be in a room where you develop those deeper relationships over a multitude of times is absolutely huge. And then again, pick what areas that you were most inspired by at that conference and what might help you get to your goals quicker, and be prepared to put yourself in situations where you can get equipped to learn more. I can't say enough about the importance of getting yourself in a position to win. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage, get yourself in an advantage. And remember, you don't need to know it all. You just need to know how to take the right next step. And when you're around people that are maybe a little bit further down the road, they're going to help you determine that next right step. So, in reflection, a couple of takeaways are: one, don't let your conference energy fade. Channel it into one small strategic action. If you can get away and reflect on it, it's absolutely huge. A reflection can be big things like literally, I planned this trip to Thailand right after the conference. And not only did I have a very long plane ride one way, and I'll have one on the way back, but time just at the beach in the pool, reflecting on next steps, especially as I build out my goals for 2026, has really been huge. But it doesn't need to be a trip to Thailand. It can be an hour or two in the coffee shop. It could be a long walk down the Boise River Greenbelt, really reflecting and thinking about that. Remember, you can have an aha from just a little tiny nugget you heard at the conference, but don't ignore that nugget. Pull that thread all the way through and take that thought to what it could mean for you and your life. It's really important to not take the time that you spent at a conference lightly and to really think about how you can get the most out of what you learn there. The success starts with just simple, consistent forward motion. And you are only going to help yourself by putting yourself into motion. It's not something where you can go to a conference and just take it all in like you're ingesting a dinner. You've got to be in a position where you're also give and take and you are having conversations back and forth and kind of dinner conversation as you will. You don't just sit there and shovel it all in. You get so much more out of an experience when you're having conversations back and forth. And that's really why it's so important to connect with others that are on your same journey and bounce ideas off one another. Real estate investing is such a journey, and it is these beautiful things like conferences that allow us to ramp up and amp up our journey and then continue to move forward. So I'm so glad if you've attended Idaho Recon or if you attended any kind of conference that really inspired you and moved you forward this year. Good job, first of all. And second of all, let's continue to keep the ball moving forward so you don't start from scratch when you come back next year, okay? So that's my 2 cents to you. If you've been to a real estate investing conference this fall, it's time to turn that inspiration into action through reflection and through taking simple steps to move the ball forward. So, thanks for being with me on this very informal show here today. I'm saying greetings from Thailand. It has been an amazing experience and such a blessing that we are at a point in life where we're able to start doing some of these kind of fun things, not kind of, really fun things. But part of that is because the early dedication and sacrifice that we made early on as we were starting our real estate investing journey. It seems like such a long time sometimes when you're trying to make things happen, but at the same time, consistent action can help you create it faster than you think when you look back. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for listening along with me, and I will see you soon on the next episode. And hopefully, if you're in Idaho, I'd love to see you at an Idaho event very, very soon. And go and grow. Have an amazing day.